Alright, so in this video, we're going to be looking at an example that uses the variables that we have learned and the input. So let's create a new class or a new Java class, a new Java project called student, and let's give it a class named student as well. Student, perfect. So now we see it's given us a class declaration, and now what we want to do is say public static void main in parentheses string box or string args. Let me just expand the screen a bit. Alright, so there we go. We have that, and we put in the curly braces, and we're good to go. So in this program, we want to gather the student's name, last name, so first name, last name, grade, ID, and GPA, and we want to display that. That's all we want to do. Since we want to gather information, we actually have to use an import statement. So we could say import java.util.scanner. This is importing the the scanner class. And now we have to actually create a scanner object in order to use it. So we're going to say scanner sc is equal to new scanner system.in, and there we go. We have created our our new scanner class or new scanner object. So now what we want to do is we actually want to prompt the user we want to prompt the user to enter some sort of data. So we're going to say this line is going to ask for first name. This one is going to ask for last name. This one is going to ask for grade level. This one is going to, let me just fix this. This one is going to ask for ID, and this one is going to ask for GPA. All right, so now let's actually ask them to input it. So system.out.println enter your first name. Just as easy as that. And now to cut short in time, I'm just going to copy paste that all the way here. And we're just going to change what it asked for. So this one's going to ask for the last name. This one is going to ask for the grade level. And this one is going to ask for your ID. And this one is going to ask for your grade point average, your GPA. And now we want to actually gather the data. So we've done this first step of prompting the user. Now we actually have to gather that data through using scanner method. So inputting the first name, so that's going to be a word. So I'm guessing we'll probably need to use a string. So let's use string first name. Notice how I use the naming variable rules to declare the variable string first name. And we're going to set that equal to sc.next. And since it's a single word, I'm just going to use next. No need to use next line. And notice how I named my scanner sc, and I'm using sc to call the method. So now I can change it to keyboard, or I can literally change it to whatever I want, but sc is nice, simple, and short. So we're going to change that to sc. So we've done that. Now we want to gather our last name in a string. So in the same way, just our last name, like so. And now we want to get out our grade level, I want them to input their grade level. So now we're going to use the same thing. Instead, we're going to use an int. So if we use an int, we must use an int over here. So next int, and then we're going to say, instead of first name, we're going to say grade level. All right, so now we want their ID, so we're going to use an int value again. We could use a string, but we are going to use an int value because why not? And we're just going to say ID. And now we want their GPA. Their GPA, I want it to be a double because I want them to put in a decimal value. and we're going to say next double. And we're going to say GPA. Perfect. So now this is going to be happy by the compiler. The compiler will hopefully be happy. So let's just give it a quick run. It won't produce anything too interesting. So we're just going to enter. I spelled my name wrong. And we're just going to enter some stuff in. And my GPA is, for now, let's just put that. Let's just see if it works. All right, so cool. So the compiler is happy. So now what I want to do is I want to display all of this information in a cool way. So here's an example of how I want it displayed. So I want it to first say name, colon, and I want the last name, then the first name, and then I want to move it to the next line, and I want to say grade level, and I want it to display grade level. And then I'm going to move to the next line, and I'm going to ask for, or I'm going to display ID, and it's going to give me its ID. And then lastly, I'm going to put in GPA, and it's going to give me its respective GPA. So in this case, it would be like this. I know I spelled my name wrong, but that's fine. And then my grade level, my ID, whatever that was completely random. And my GPA. Alright, so now let's try to put this in a single line of code. It's definitely possible. System.out.println. We can obviously put this in multiple lines of code, but just to save some space, we're just going to put it in a single line of code. In quotations, we're going to write name, colon, and then we're going to concatenate the last name, whatever the last name is, and we're going to concatenate a comma to that, and then we're going to put in the first name using another concatenation, and then let me just increase the screen. And now what we want to do is we have name, last name, comma, first name. Now we want to move to the next line, and then we want to display the grade level. And now we're going to concatenate the grade level to this, grade level. So here we have new line, grade level, whatever the grade level is. And now that we have the grade level, we're going to move to the next line. And then we're going to display the ID. So then we're going to concatenate whatever the ID is of the student. And then we're going to move to the final line, and we're going to say GPA. And we're going to display what the GPA of the student is. And there we go. That's it. Maybe, actually, I want to put student information. And I'm just going to put in like that. And there we go. I have student information. So before name, I'm going to put student information. Bam. And I maybe want just like one line of space. So there we go. It's going to look like that. If I want one line of space, I must put two of these. So there we go. Now let's actually see if this works and we get a satisfied output. Sorry about that. And let's run it. The compiler seems happy, so let's test it out. My last name, my grade level, my ID. Let's just say it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And my GPA, let's say it's a 3.789. All right. So then here we go. Student information. It leaves one line of space. And then we have name, my grade level, my ID, and my GPA. And that's a quick example of how we can use inputs.